Hello, happy Monday. I'm so happy to be here. Washed, clean, ready for you. I'm ready to also welcome Jewelry Edition for our second in a series. And here they are. I'm going to get them in right now. Here. Welcome. You guys, so nice to see everybody. Cheers as well. Hi.
Hi.
Cheers, sweetie. How are you?
Cheers. Good. How are you?
Good. I'm making it through, you guys. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Tanya. Welcome. Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, yeah.
So for us to talk a little bit about Megan McGaffigan's work.
Megan
How you doing?
McGaffigan is tonight. Yeah, things are good. We were out of internet for today up where I'm at, so we're back in business. So this is great. Yeah.
One of the most important things right now is internet.
I know it went out. Everybody was like, wait a minute, but we're good now. Everything's back on track. And we have Megan McGaffigan here tonight. And just for anybody, I guess, who isn't familiar with Jewelry Edition, there's a great video on our website. It's jewelryedition.com. You can get a nice preview of things we've done in the past and what we're working on now. And you can also see the full lineup of all the Jewelry Edition artists. And tonight we are featuring with Megan, Megan McGaffigan, and she is awesome. She's right now she's in Portland, Oregon, outside of Portland, Oregon. And she makes some really special pieces. She has one foot in a fine jewelry world. She's got another foot in using alternative materials and found object. What she features pretty prominently in her work is tintype, and she mixes it with precious stones. Yeah, so she's got all these really cool, unique pieces. She focuses on the portraiture of these people. Oftentimes, she titles the pieces after what was written on the back of the tintype photograph. Yes, and
I love
it's really.
In the part you can see some more traditional kind of metalworking or more traditional fine jewelry.
Megan is a person. You look at the craftsmanship of her work and you can tell immediately that she knows exactly what she's doing. She's not experimenting at this point. She has it down, and she uses a lot of really interesting stones, a lot of hematite, spinel, black onyx. These are really beautiful. You can kind of see dark sparkle.
Yeah, I feel like the dark stones are very antique feeling, but they also match the tintypes really well color-wise, right? I love the sparkly pyrite. Is that pyrite or spinel, that one?
This is spinel, I'm pretty certain, but let me check.
They're like faceted.
Yes, it is spinel.
That's like my favorite. I've so many of those faceted rondels too. I love that as a little accent. Oh yeah, show us more.
She uses a lot of hematite. She's got a lot of hematite in her work. These are gorgeous. This is these are called Ruffle study earrings. So she's got a tintype ruffle here. And she'll talk to you a little bit about this, I'm sure, but she uses a lot of found object tintype, but she's also taken a lot of her own tintype photography as well. And she mixes that with the sterling silver. You can see they've got a lot of really nice movement. These are a little larger. The earrings that I have on and this pair, I gravitate towards the larger sizes.
You care for it too, because your hair is short. Okay, I definitely put big earrings on for you today. And I'm like,
oh, nice! I love those. You. Oh yes,
Laura's, but these are mine, and I'm like, they're Laura length. But this is big on you at all, by the way. You're wearing.
Yeah, this is a 3-inch long earring. I love wearing longer earrings. Also, this pin that I'm wearing is the Haberdash Sisters. Really sweet.
Oh, I love the pin.
So she's got another one.
So tell me a little bit more about tintypes, and also I like the idea of the found object, but then starting to take her own. I guess I'll ask her if that came before or after.
Yeah, she can tell you probably the evolution of how she got into it. I know that things really took off also after she moved to the Portland area. She met a lot of people there who have contributed to the growth of her work in a variety of ways, both in the fine jewelry aspect and also with the tintype. But yeah, I met I met Megan several years ago at the Yuma Symposium out in Arizona. I first saw her work there. And then she kept following up with Jewelry Edition and eventually applied for this last volume. And her work was just so well done. You could tell in the photographs are remarkable. You can see on our website, we use a lot of her photography that she has had done for her pieces. I mean, it's just really beautiful pieces. Yeah, and
I'm like, this is like, okay, I'm like, so basically the program today, Laura's going to tell us a little bit and try stuff on, and we're going to talk to Megan, and we're going to come back and do more try on. So
yes.
be ready, because the trying on is so fun. And I already talked to Megan, prepared her. I'm like, try to try on some pieces, and I'm like curious about mixing these like really vintage elements, but making them very modern. The lines are really clean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is a cool, you'll love the pearls, Megan.
Of course, I love that.
Yeah, with the little pendant here. And I just love these little, if you can see, let's see, where's my camera? If you can see those little scrolls at the very, very top, that little detail is so beautiful, the way that she pairs that with the stones and the pearls. It's just got a really delicate look. It's sort of like a, you know, contemporary heirloom. It definitely has a nod to the past. It definitely has sort of like that morning jewelry feel to it. But then she brings it into a contemporary language with the way that she is designing and setting each piece. So I just really think she's doing something really special with the portraits and honoring the people that are in the tintypes. These are called spinster studs.
Oh, are they the same person? Flip? No, it's two different.
No,
pictures.
they're different. They're different people.
It's really hard to see.
I know. I saw. There are better images of all of these things on our website, but
the website has everybody can go to the website and see tons of stuff, which is great. But this is like a good way. So, hello, welcome. I like that you can try stuff on, like you trying it on and seeing the scale on your. This is like the sweetest size pin, though.
I know.
This is not big at all.
Yeah, and it looks a lot larger on Instagram and on our website because it's, you know, just the image. But these are just the sweetest little pieces that you could just pop on whatever, and you could pair it with a bunch of other, you know, pieces on a lapel if you wanted to. This is another kind of smaller scale piece. This is about, you know, 1.25 inches, about a ½ inch wide. And again, she has it signed on the back. The finish also that she has on the sterling silver is really beautiful. It's got a blackened patina. So again, it kind of does that, you know, antiqued aged look, but it doesn't go so antiqued that it looks kind of kitschy. To me, it sort of stays out of that category. It definitely has its own language, blending with the tintype in them.
The stone she's using keep everything consistent. What's that stone on top there? Just go back really quick. Is that a little white stone on top of it?
This is a little pearl. Yeah, this is a little pearl, and she's calling it. Yeah, she has a name for it. She's calling it the Mississippi River pearl. And she'll have to give you more information about that because, I'm not sure. This is a pin. This is a little pin. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, it's got a little pin back.
Them like little little medals, like.
Absolutely. And this one, I should take the one I have off and show it to you a little closer because the women in this photograph are just like.
Look at those headdresses.
I know.
I love the
so
pearl.
Great.
I love the little pearl movement bits.
Yeah, and again, that little scroll.
Yeah, up close I can see the scrolls again even more there, which is a nice design element.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. How cool. Well, show us a couple more and then I'll have about 5 minutes. Just so we can tease everybody. Laura try stuff on.
One of my favorites is probably, I mean, I know I probably held this up already, but this Again, this is in the larger size, like the ones I'm wearing, but the stone, this is a Montana agate in the top. And if you can tell, it's kind of got some speckles in there. It's really interesting. And it sort of has a sienna tone to it, which I think also pairs really nicely with the tintype. And then again, the tintype are two different people. And this one here, I believe, is called Boston Marriage. She has a few that are Boston Marriage 1, 2, 3. She also has they're titled like Arranged Marriage after people's names, other than like the wallpaper studies. But they're really
all these people. You know what I mean? This that's an entree for me to asking a lot of questions as a story. Like, how are those two together? Why did you choose them to be together?
I know.
Interesting.
I know. I don't know if she finds them like in the antique shop, if she's like going through the bins and then she sees them together, if they were paired together. But she does keep all of that information. So, and it's really interesting to hear her talk about it, her process, because she really is very thoughtful about where these things come from, how she's titling them, you know, who she sticks together. It's really, really great.
I love that.
I will find the title of this one. Here.
Lots of storytelling, right?
Yeah, this is Boston Marriage 1. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I love it. Oh, Laura.
Some of the scratches that are on the tintype are really cool. Kind of has like an, you know, gives you a little bit of information, a little insight into the age of the tintype that she's using. And then the rings are really special too. I'm wearing one. This is a tulip ring. And this is also something that she can tell you a little more about. You know, it's wallpaper from like a dollhouse or something, or some like kind of something. I don't know. Is it focusing? It's not really focusing on.
Those are. I love the shape of that. It's such simple ovals, which is really like a little portrait, like really harkening back to little portraits, miniatures, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's just, and there's details, you know, throughout the piece that kind of tie into the imagery that's happening on the surface and in the tintype. Is she's bringing that back out and adding details on the band. And nothing has gone without thought. I mean, the way that this top piece is situated on the center there, it's really great craftsmanship and feels really great. It's not too big. This is a size 7, but she has another ring here. This is called the Steeple Ring, and there's a little church in this scene, and there's a little tiny diamond set in the top of the steeple of the church.
Oh, that's like a little light or something.
Yeah. And then her pieces are all signed too. Again, she's got a little engraved signature on the back of all of her work, which is always great when you can remember to sign your work. And that gives you a little bit of an idea of the scale. But I could see these rings pairing up with other things too. Like if you had an onyx ring, or if you had like, you know, other colorful jewelry, I think you could pair something like this with it.
Ooh, I love that idea of pairing it with a beautiful, like, oval onyx and different sizes kind of mixed in there. Oh, that's really good color-wise. Are they also bands oxidized silver as well? For
the band, the whole ring has been oxidized, but you can see there's like a little bit of a polish. She has brushed back the intensity of the patina on the band of the ring. The inside is polished, so you're not going to be dealing with any patina rubbing off on your hands. The only issue you might have is if you're allergic to sterling silver, and then, you know, that would happen no matter what. But you know, they're very comfortable and have been really thought out, all the finishes and everything. Really, really, really great. Really great work.
They're kind of like a good medium size, not crazy big, but big enough where they really show off.
Yeah. And I mean, anything that's an oval like this with that cool frame on the outside, it really just catches the light and you're drawn into that cameo. You know, you can sort of get that cameo vibe, excuse me, from it. And it just kind of draws you in. It takes you into that narrative, whatever she's framing in each piece, especially, you know, with the earrings, they're all these oval. That might be something too to talk to Megan about, these oval shapes that she chooses, because they're not just your standard oval. You're not going to just like draw through the template. They've been, you know, tweaked just a little to be a really nice size,
I love
around
that.
each
And I
person.
using the stones that kind of go, they're also oval. The ones you showed me, Montana opals.
Yeah, the Montana, it's a Montana agate is what she,
Agate.
and then there's also a
Flip the orientation of the
onyx.
oval. Yeah.
And there's a little tiny onyx on top. And then the Montana agate, and then the little scroll, which is on a little hinge, which is also just the sweetest detail that is on a hinge. So you're gonna get you're gonna get the movement on the ear, but you're not gonna get that flipsing that happens sometimes when jump rings are used. So it's gonna stay exactly where it needs to stay, and you're gonna get that movement, but you're not gonna be worried about that.
Weird, you know.
Yeah,
I love details like that, especially where something is very clean and you know that you want that line, that just keeping that, maintaining that. I love that. Okay, it's 18. I'm gonna get Megan in, and then we'll go to Laura, and we're gonna make Laura try more stuff on. But I'm gonna make Megan try on now.
fabulous.
Thank you, Laura. I'll see you in a.
We'll see you in a bit.
Okay, Megan, get ready. Here she is. Yes, I'm gonna get you in. I know, always like, this is like, is it gonna connect?
Hi.
Yes! Hello, welcome! Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Here.
How are you?
I'm good. You see me okay? Oh.
Yeah, can you see me okay?
Okay, good. Hello, welcome. Thanks so much for being here.
Hi.
Where
Thank you
are
for having me.
you? Are you? This is amazing.
I am in my little studio in my house. It's been a new space, new house situation. So things are kind of tighter than they were. For now, I'm working on a studio space outside in a shop in building that. So this is kind of like a temporary holding zone.
No, but how cool. Are you in Portland, Oregon?
No, so nobody knows where Vancouver, Washington is. It's just across the river north of Portland, like 20 minutes.
In Portland, and then we go to Vancouver. My sister lived there for many years. I thought for some reason you were in the Bay Area.
So I was raised down in the Bay Area.
Okay. Richmond?
Yeah. Actually down in Saratoga, but I lived in Oakland for a while when I went to graduate school at CCA. And then, yeah, I kind of have been like California, Montana, and now back to Oregon, Washington area. So
I'm from California. I went to school in the Bay Area, and my first jewelry class was at CCA.
Oh my gosh.
With Curtis Arima.
Yeah. Oh, Curtis. I love Curtis.
That's when I was like, oh, Bay Area girl. But then interesting. But I totally know where Vancouver, Washington is. Yes.
Yeah. Curtis was my toughest graduate school professor.
He's an excellent fabricator.
Yeah. He's excellent at everything. Yeah. So
really too. So
yeah.
How funny. How funny. Anyway, so it sounds really cool. Like you're building out a new space. Can you show us a little bit what you're doing?
Yeah, I'll give you a little tour of like where I'm at now. So this is just kind of a little room here out on the farm.
Ooh.
And I try to spread things out and
we're gonna
that
all
stuff
in there.
We're gonna get all over that. And then I have this is kind of like my wax carving station here.
Very nice.
When I carve waxes, and just kind of like, I don't know, things move and change all the time. So predominantly waxes. I have my little ultrasonic here for.
I love an ultrasonic.
Taking baths,
really
my
clean.
little houseplant collection is good. Some birds.
Ooh, million.
Lights.
Ooh, what is that? Look, that's what. Okay, show us a look. Can you rummage through those a little bit?
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. So, and what they are exactly.
Okay, so tintypes are a form of photography, one of the first forms of photography, where it's if you're familiar with photography methods, I was not until I learned how to take these. I learned this technique from a gentleman in Portland named Ray Bittigan, and he's like a master tintype man, and he wonderfully taught me how to take tintypes in his backyard. This photograph was actually from that first session with him. We did some still lifes. And I was just really, I've always used photography with my jewelry work, but it was predominantly as a form of research. But in graduate school, I did show photography in my graduate school show. So it was kind of like the research became the artwork as well. And then this was kind of just like a natural progression in that it's a photograph on metal, but the photograph itself is actually a silver nitrate. So it's a silver emulsion, and that's silver on metal. So it kind of like conceptually makes sense.
Yeah, it does, because it's still metals. Wait, are those pearl strands?
Yeah. So, okay.
You're making jewelry about jewelry about jewelry. I love that.
I know, it's very meta.
I love
this was one of my first experiments without the supervision of Ray. My mom had given me this, well, I had asked her to give me these pearls, and she said, "Oh, Megan, I'm not ready yet. Maybe when you're a little older." And I'm like, "Mom, I'm like 30. I'm plenty old enough." And so instead, I took these photographs of the pearls. Yeah. And they were just, I mean, really beautiful images, kind of mysterious. And the pearls were white. But tintypes are interesting the way they translate UV light into imagery. So it was kind of just a really beautiful surprise. And then very shortly afterwards, my mom's house burned down. So these photographs kind of became, and the pearls burned with it. So these photographs kind of became these memento mori, morning jewelry portraiture, like post-mortem or pre-mortem. I don't know. And that's also like a period of jewelry that I've always been really drawn to. So I started experimenting with making like little portrait miniatures, because that kind of speaks to that era and interest. Here's kind of like a little failed experiment of gems. They don't have that's like mixed gemstones. They don't have the same effect as the pearls are so dramatic, you know.
I can see that being the first pass, but then you diving deeper and doing that as a whole series. But I think the pearls, I see that so right now with your work, with the pearls you're adding in, because you're bringing all these dark stones, but then have the pearls, it's like beam of light.
Yeah, and the pearls really were the first rendition. The first piece I made was this brooch. I can actually show you, actually. I don't have it here, but I can show you a version of it.
Love that your
iPad. So this was the first piece I made, and it really was like a morning brooch, paying homage to those photographs and like the pearls themselves. And it's about 3 inches tall, maybe 2 inches wide. Like, it's a coat brooch. It's substantial. And it's made of platinum silver, so it's quite heavy. But that's really something that, you know, everyone's like, "Oh, it's too heavy to wear." And I'm like, no, but you know what? This is some heavy shit, okay?
I love
you know what I mean? Like, let's not be too literal, but it's okay.
I think everything you're saying, you're speaking my language. What's this black around it? I also feel like you hold it like a little portrait. Like,
yeah.
Feel is important too.
I'm going to scroll on my website for a minute and just, I think I have a photograph of the front and the back here.
Oh, I love the back. Oh, the back.
Yeah.
So this as the back, these design elements.
So the front is a traditional hand engraved wheat pattern, and that's just a traditional engraving technique. You see it a lot in jewelry. It's a very common pattern.
Like also in like skinny, like simple bands, we'll use that.
Yes, absolutely.
Simple band, they'll add that to it.
And there's a couple variations of it. I really like it with a little bead on it. Use a beading tool to make that like tiny little dot. That's just my own like.
I love that. I like, that's also kind of like little stone setting, right? With the little dot.
The beading.
The dots also match the pearls.
Yes.
It's that, like, you're getting these little round globes.
It's kind of like obsessive repetition. Yeah.
Love it. Wait, so what, the black something, is that a stone or?
The stones are black spinel. Yeah, so they're all bead set in there, kind of at an angle, which is really beautiful. This was at the time when I was working with a jeweler who was teaching me these like traditional stone setting techniques.
Cool.
And this was kind of one of the first pieces where that really materialized for me.
It's really beautiful. So
yeah,
kind of give a little bit of background because you have, you're not only doing this more conceptual work, you're also trained as a fine jeweler. So you're adding that, your techniques, mixing them, right?
I mean, when people say that I'm a trained fine jeweler, I always kind of have like imposter syndrome where I'm like, no, I just make stuff. I don't know. And then I'm like, oh, but I guess I do make stuff and people pay me for it. I guess that, okay, sure. Okay. But I'm still in denial about that. For some reason, my background is in art jewelry. And I really found after school, like, it's hard to make a living. I'm most happy when I'm making, and that's the most like fulfilling for me. And I really felt like there was some holes in our art jewelry education system where, and I'm not trying to get too political here.
No, but I just about this because I did not go to art school, so I'll talk. I also have been to CCA.
Yeah, which is a wonderful school.
Awesome.
And so I did my graduate school there, and I did my undergrad at Montana State University with a professor named Brian Peterson, who is a descendant, I call him, of Robert Ebbendorf. That's where tin type, or not tin type, but like the found object background really comes from me. Cool. But just like not a ton of, like we surveyed everything. We learned enameling, we learned raising, we learned casting. We learned a little bit of everything, which was a fantastic foundation. And, you know, he's the one teacher for all the jewelry, and he's wonderfully skilled across so many things. And then going to CCA was great too, because it was kind of like whatever you want to learn, you can. Like Curtis is a great stone setter, but for me, I really needed work on developing my conceptual jewelry. And that's really why I wanted to go to CCA. So after those two experiences, I was still like, gosh, I've not really ever worked with gold. I've not really set a round stone in a basket setting and can feel confident in that. Like I know the premise, and I did it with CZs with like not under a microscope, nothing. And so I ended up working with a jeweler in Portland who really taught me, like shored up those techniques of stone setting, traditional stone setting. And he was a traditionally trained jeweler, went to the Revere Academy in San Francisco before they closed. Like I took
classes there also.
Yes, I know. So instrumental.
It's I get you. I think you make your education yourself.
Yes. And that's really, I'm like, okay, the next step for me is to tailor this even more. And what I know I need to like hone my craftsmanship and to like really level up is to figure this out. And I had actually purchased this weird thing happened where this girl reached out to me from high school. I hadn't talked to her in 15 years. And she's like, hey, Megan. She was in the Bay Area. And she's like, Megan, my mother-in-law died and she had a gem shopping problem. And I know you're slinging jewels. And I was like, okay, well, I'd love to see you over some wine. Can I come over and check out what you got? And I get there and it's like a treasure trove of like semi-precious stones and some precious stones and like not super high quality, but hundreds of them. And she's like, I'll sell you this whole thing for like $500. And I thought, oh, that's kind of, you know, that's a lot of money. And I also like, I don't really know how to set stones that great. I call them Granny's gems. So I came into, her name was Bonnie Barker, which will be the name of something someday.
How did you tin type of those gemstones?
That's what those were, that tin type of the gems.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I was right. Okay, read your mind.
Anyway, I bought this lot of stones from her because she was going to sell it at a garage sale. And I'm like, girl, this is meant to be mine. Hi. Yeah.
Came to you for a reason.
Yeah, so Granny's Gems happened, and then I sought out a jeweler to teach me, which is very difficult to find. It's very hard to find a jeweler who will let you come in their space untrained, and I mean untrained in their eyes because they're like fine jewelers and think it's, you know, not a thing. So yeah, it was just a series of serendipitous events that worked out. And
Cool.
that was 4 years ago.
Awesome.
Here we are.
Yeah. So now you've kind of like gotten really like blended all these skills and all this educational background, and then you've developed this. How long ago did you develop this body of work? Did you like find a tintype, or was it a master's degree? Has it been a long, non-linear?
The tintypes didn't happen until I moved to Portland, which was a couple years after graduate school. And I just didn't know. I needed to learn something new, and I didn't know that it would come into jewelry. I just was like, I've always been drawn to this. I've always collected photographs of women with dogs. I can show you some.
I know. Also, okay, I want to show you. Okay, before because we have like 15 more minutes. So
yeah.
You're going to show me. I want to talk about the stories, like your Boston marriage and your arrangement. Mm-hmm. These ladies and gentlemen sound like they have stories.
Sure. And some of them are like, what is the story? Only what we can glean. Maybe it's just the name on the back of a portrait. That's when you're lucky. The rest of it, I feel like, is, okay, I bought this in Yuma at the Yuma Symposium. I've come across some great tintypes there. Or I found this where, sometimes people give them to me too now because, like, people know that I use them. Yeah, it's so hard and mysterious at the same time. But I think, these photographs are often the only photograph of this person that ever existed. And they're just like cast aside.
One photograph their whole life, maybe,
Yeah, exactly. And,
totally.
Yeah, and tintypes were the beginning of photography becoming more affordable for like the layman's, the normal person. But still, it was not a common thing where we have 50,000 photos on our iPhone right now. You know what I mean?
Oh, it was expensive a little bit.
They're precious in a way. And the memory and the sentiment with that is kind of precious. I'm a really kind of outgoing person, but a lot of this is kind of like dark and sad. It's kind of that like other evil side of me almost. Because the tintypes for me did come from a place of mourning that I experienced with my family and the loss of our home. So it's interesting, and there's just a long steeped history of photographing post-mortem tintypes and photographing children. And I don't work with children tintypes. They weird me out. It feels a little everyone's like, look at this, and I'm like, is that child dead or alive? I can't.
I don't want sure that also, but yeah. In my stories,
I don't do it. I really like the tintypes of the women.
Yeah.
Because
do you have any like, can you show us a little bit in process? Like, how do you, I'm guessing you get all the pieces and kind of start putting them together, finding paired.
So here is kind of, oh gosh, my forehead. There we go.
So my family, my grandmother's the first person in her family not arranged marriage. So
wow.
She's from China, and and it's all this. So I'm like, this is like, I have stuff from this time era.
Yeah.
This is
okay, so like this couple is really interesting. How's the quality, visibility? Good?
Perfect.
Okay. So what's really interesting to me about this is so much of it actually isn't real. And that's part of memory too, and sentiment as well, is that you cultivate your memory is your reality. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it isn't real.
Totally.
So if you look at the background of this tintype, there's like this faux fountain, there's this wallpaper action, and it's a backdrop. It's all of the backgrounds in tintypes are backdrops.
Sears.
Yeah, so the ring that Laura showed earlier with the wallpaper, it's wallpaper, but it's also like fake wallpaper.
Oh, that's so cool. So you can take, I love that though.
Yeah. Here's like, this is one that I've pieced apart. So these two people got their heads, they were salvaged and made into earrings. I'm working on trying to figure out how to make them wall pieces where the earring can come in and out so that the remaining, like the garbage salvage tintype is
part of it.
Is a wall art piece. But then the earring, like this would be the earring. This is like before it's cleaned, would fasten back in here. So it's like a wall piece and it's earrings.
Yeah.
That's something I'm working on.
But
if you look at the background of this is like some tapestry that's not real next to a fireplace that's kind of cut off, and like these drapes are not real. Everything is a background.
They didn't have homes they could photograph in?
Well, they go to photographer studios where the lighting could be managed.
Okay. Oh, just like now. Okay.
Just like now. We're like, this is a weird one too.
Oh.
Hello, ladies.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That's a backdrop also.
That's the backdrop. Yeah.
Love that though. It looks like a little like theater scene.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And what's really interesting to me is that, they'd put on their best dress and they'd literally bring out all the accessories, the hats, the handbags usually too, the jewels, and these women just like, that's not real either. They wouldn't wear all that stuff at once, but in the photographs they're always tricked out,
Love it. Well, it's important because that's gonna be
right. It's a portrayal of like value and memory and sentiment.
Do they always have the squared off? See how some of them have the squared off?
Yeah, some of them do, some of them don't. I should ask my kind of mentor Ray about that. He would know. I think it has to do with the way that you load a plate into the cartridge.
Okay.
And how you pull the plate out when you're processing it.
That's so cool. So what's the metal underneath? It's tin, I guess.
This is tin.
Yeah.
So the antique ones is like legitimately tin. It's very thin. But this is like a modern one that I took of the pearls. Oh. Yeah. And it's aluminum, and it's much thicker. See the aluminum?
The aluminum is so cool because you can get super big without
being... Yeah, they're much larger.
Yeah.
And you can buy them smaller. It's just my tin type camera loads that size aluminum sheet. So that's...
Wait, do you have a special like camera for this?
Yes, I do. I don't have it in my studio. It's in the shop. I know. I was like, I should have set it up. But it's a tin type camera, which is pretty cool. So
I'm challenging you to post that at some point because
okay, cool. Absolutely, I'll post it for you.
Yeah,
I have some photographs of me using it actually that I will post for you.
Oh, that comb is so pretty.
Oh yeah, so this is a hair comb that's kind of made from that same series. This has a price tag on it still. This has a tin type on the back.
Sure. All the aluminum underneath. This is because it looks so big. Oh, is this sterling then? It looks.
Yeah, this is a platinum silver, and then it's the same like engraved wheat pattern. It's a little dusty, and this is a rainbow obsidian that's actually kind of obsidian, because it's not very rainbowy. It's predominantly black, but that's what I like. So I was like, ooh, mine. And when I saw it, I knew exactly what it needed to be made into. And I only actually I'll show you some sketches. I only did 2 sketches of this thing before we made it. So this is the kind of closest to what ended up happening, and then the side profile.
Do you have anyone wearing that? I think you should put that in your hair and wear it. That's so pretty.
I can try to show you. I'll try to put it on and show you.
Yeah, because this is stunning. And I love how you set up little like those stones over there to the right. Is that a bunch of going to be earrings?
Let's see.
These vanilla.
Yeah. I mean, this is just like, I tend to collect stones in pairs because I feel like I'm an earring whore and mostly just make earrings.
The number one that sell. Keep making earrings.
Yeah, and also just, it's nice to have 2 of something. It's like the hoarder in me. I think if you're a jeweler or like a maker, you tend to like collect and hoard your materials. And don't let anybody shame you about that.
Never. And we are all guilty of this, but this is how you get your creations. Oh my God, look at that. Oh.
Yeah, so some of these things I've had for a long time, but they don't like get made until it's time for them to get made, and I don't know when that is. It's just, when it's time.
Because then the tin types will come to you, and then they'll match the stones correctly, and then there's a linear way.
Usually, so like these sisters, they're really beautiful, and what I like about them is that they both are wearing these scarves that are various versions of checkers, and that they're photographed the same size. So like in this photograph, the scale of the person closer is different than the scale of the people in the back. So like they wouldn't be very good to pair together, if that makes sense. So there's some like logistical,
because of perspective, right?
Yeah. And sometimes the people further back or up close aren't as in focus. So there's kind of ways that I like rule things out.
But like, or like this one has a really light background. So if I paired her with somebody, I'd look for somebody who has a really light background also, because she's kind of lonely, you know?
Mm-hmm. She
so
is.
like this wouldn't be a good, I mean, in my mind, wouldn't be a good pair because she's so light and she's so dark, but maybe we could do the contrast. What is the name on this one? You can see the name on it. It says, hang on. Ginny, Jinny Richards.
Oh.
Ginny Richards. Look at that booty.
Yeah.
What is happening? Kim
Yes.
Kardashian. Except not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I kind of just mix and match. I have this is like my collection of tintypes, and I tend to store them in baggies because they will scratch each other. Just if they have like sharp points.
So is part of the reason that you set them in the bezel set kind of protects them in any way from the
scratch? Yeah, it kind of drops them down and protects them, but I also coat them with a secondary coating. So they're coated with a lavender oil and a tree sap mix. That's what the traditional coating of them was to seal them.
That's cool.
It does a really good job, but for the pieces that are worn as jewelry, I do like a contemporary sealed layer on top of that.
That's nice.
And it also, see how this kind of has some scratches?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are from it rubbing on other things, which drives me insane. So that matte finish that I put on them hides that really well.
Oh.
So, okay. Anyway, life hacks.
No, I love all those little hacks because that's really, you're thinking about all the things so that it comes into one really consistent piece. Even though you're elements, you know?
It took a while to develop it all. You know, there was a big learning curve with a lot of it, and many like frustrating late nights, but I feel like a lot of things I kind of have figured out now, which is great. But you know, you're always learning and always hunting new photographs, and
always
here's all this spinel for you that you were saying you love.
Spinel and the pearls.
Yeah.
Do you ever use the pyrite or any other? The pyrite.
Mostly like these are a star. These are a star sapphire that I got at the Tucson Gem Show this year. They're kind of brown sepia. So that's new. I love this spinel because it has a similar light refractive index to a diamond, but with a much more affordable cost.
I'm obsessed with
and so I'm wearing earrings right now that actually have these huge coffin cut diamonds.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Because I like you're also choosing let's
see. You see that?
Coffin cut.
Yeah, so it's shaped like a coffin.
Yeah, this is a perfect mix though with what you're doing. This shape works well. More the ovals. I like how you're mixing in these more oval bezel set.
Right. So these are.
You choose the shape because that is very nice.
And these have bead set 1 millimeter diamonds all the way around the sides too.
Those are luscious.
Yeah.
So sparkly.
These are, for sale, but also fine to have them in my private collection. No problem.
Do you take a lot of private? Do you do special things? It sounds like you could do something because you are working with so much about memory. I feel like you could do something. Sign me up for Coffin Cut Diamonds. Yeah. I feel like you would have people taking on like special lockets or doing special things.
I haven't really yet, but also I feel like I'm still like emerging in that way. I don't feel like that many people know about.
We're working on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's personal and private too. So like if it doesn't, that's okay. But I would totally be open to helping someone with their family heirloom stuff. I think lockets would be amazing.
Just thinking because what you're doing, it would be bringing back some of that old. People would do the miniatures.
Yeah, I've been considering. I'll show you this. So this is these are a type of agate here.
Ooh.
Yeah. And some of these are not opaque; they're transparent. And layering the photograph behind with this, and then if it were a locket, it can open and close, and you can change.
It would be a little bit like obscured.
Yeah, exactly. But like with silhouettes. So if you had a light backed tintype with a dark figure, it would work really well to kind of, These are all the things that stew on.
Okay, you have 1 minute. Show me anything else really important that's been happening in your life recently.
One other thing that's important in my life?
Well, I mean, important jewelry life right now. We can talk about a lot of things.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on a really nice personal piece for somebody, with some really beautiful little marquee emeralds. And these are just like, it's for a really good friend of mine who's been working her butt off and has been a really kind of instrumental person in a lot of like the work and the encouragement for me. So that's, you know, the quarantine has been good for being able to do nice things for people who've helped me along the way. So
absolutely, completely love this. Megan, thank you so much for joining us. I've still have some questions, but I want to say thank you right now. I'm going to have Laura try some more stuff on for us and close this. Keep building your studio. It sounds like it's going well. Congratulations on the new move.
Thank you.
Forward to seeing more on the website.
Absolutely. Thanks, Megan. Have a great evening.
Thanks, honey.
Bye.
Okay, Laura, we're going to bring Laura back in, and she's going to talk to us a little bit more and close us out and show us a little bit more of the pieces that they're focusing and curated for Jewelry Edition. Let's see if I can get her in here. Let's see. Here's Jewelry Edition. Add. So she can show us a little bit more what's going on. Hi.
Hi.
Oh my God, that was like, we had like 1 minute together, but that was great because I love all those tin types.
Wasn't that great? It's so cool to see. Well, first of all, it's really cool to see how anybody organizes their studio and how they keep everything in order or not, or, you know, if you're like me, you kind of don't, and it sort of works its way in. But
you have a big studio to do that, so you can.
Now I do. Yeah, I'm taking advantage of that.
All of us jewelers, we put little things together, we make little piles, and we let things ruminate and think.
Yeah, you know, I think that's one thing. There's something to be said for that, how jewelers tend to do that. We sort of collect a lot of different materials and inspiration. I mean, I'm sure a lot of all artists do that, but you know, and just kind of let it sit and sink in, and it may be several years before you use something or even put it into the world. And you can definitely see how Megan's practice in collecting all of the tin types and kind of finding the right pair to put together is so thoughtful, you know. I mean, and it's true, you don't want to have a really bright tin type over here and a really dark one over here. You know, you want it to work together.
Yeah, and I love that. Seeing the background and seeing how people put those compositions together makes me appreciate so much more the thoughtfulness behind the design. You really understand there was thought behind this, and it's important.
Yes, and at the end there, where she's showed you that agate, and it talked about how she might start pairing that, so you can sort of see the silhouette behind it. I need to see those, Megan. Those are going to be amazing when you get around to it.
We have like many.
And
you, my dear. I love it.
So cool. I mean, there's just so many ways.
Pardon me. What kind of things did you guys pick for Jewelry Edition? Did you tell her, send me lots of earrings? What are you guys focusing on with her work during this JEV5?
I mean, as you can see, we were really taken with the emphasis on the portraiture and the, you know, the people. The stories there are just really interesting, both in the visual things that are happening, but also just a nod to the past, and also the way that she frames each piece and chooses, you know, whether or not to pair people who have been in the same photograph together, or maybe just in the same lot of tintype. And I mean, like this pair here, like the women in the, I mean, what they're wearing. I mean, look at those outfits. They're so.
This is everybody's best outfits. You know what I mean? You have to, like, they're in their finest hat. They're living a special moment right then, you know?
Totally. And I love how she was talking about, I mean, it's something I hadn't really considered about how, you know, they put everything on specifically for the photograph, that they wouldn't necessarily ever dress like that, but they got to bring all their nice things in. I feel like we should bring that back. You know what I mean?
I think because I like this idea of remembrance and people being so far away. People would use the little miniatures as a way to remember people, because they would go off on different travels and not always live so close to the relatives. So this is really pertinent to this time. Wait, so tell us, can you show some more things, or do you have any necklaces too?
We have, well, we had a really gorgeous big like bolo tie, and we sold that earlier in the year. And so we mostly have earrings of Megan's right now, but we do have this really beautiful pearl, you know, piece with the pendant.
Lovely.
You know, if you can get past
I
my
love her.
hands.
I love all these hats.
Yeah, all the hats, and then, you know, the hematite. You've got the pieces, and this is a pair here.
Oh, these are so, you can really see how you're talking about using the same color background. And I like the idea that you don't know, not be from the same photograph. They're not
I also really love some of them. You can see like this one, her little rosy cheeks in there, how they did that. Yeah, it's really special. Kat's joined us. Do you have a favorite piece you want us to show, Kat? I don't know. I've gone through a few of them.
I think she's also bringing in different, like when we were talking about size and shape and movement, it has a lot of fine jewelry elements. So it really.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and one thing that she, you know, I mean, you only have a certain amount of time to get into everything, but in our interviews with her, one of the things that she mentioned was getting to Portland and not really knowing anybody and trying to figure out like where to have her studio and how to get, you know, involved within the community there. And she met the fine jeweler who's been teaching her there, and then also met the tintype artist who has shown her that. And through those two areas, she's kind of really made that a part of her practice in a big way. And now she is regularly, you know, going in and working with the fine jewelry artist there, and then also, you know, going back to her home studio and taking those things and sharing that. Yeah, Lynn, she's in Portland, Oregon. She's right outside Portland, Oregon.
Actually, which is
right. Yeah, she's yeah.
That awesome, but similar vibe. So you want to show us a couple more pieces or try some more things on?
Yes. Well, let's see. Is there
I wanted to try that comb on so bad, by the way.
I know,
Megan,
I know. Well, so I've got on the big statement earrings here, and
also,
I really want to put on one of these from the Boston marriage, because I mean, you know, they're big and I mean, you know, I love too how she's dealt with the finish on the ear finding too, which I think is, you know, always key when you can keep it consistent. It's really nice. These are your favorite, Megan? These are really, really cool. The people in these are just like awesome. I love their outfits and everything. But I also love this lady's headdress in this earring too.
Oh yeah, I like her little cheeks, little touch
yeah,
of
and
color.
I guess you could choose whether or not you want the people facing towards you, or I guess kind of like a cameo, like how are you going to wear it, facing in. Yeah, Kat loves the Boston marriage too. Yeah, and really on our website, as you see, and these are small. This is a smaller scale. And if you know, on the website, we have everything listed, and you can see the titles for everything, and the size is listed there next to it.
I know you have some writers working with you. I really would love to see, that looks like a skunk cat. I could see the writers talking and creating little backstories for these people, or I'm seeing Megan creating little stories about these people.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the beauty of it. You can kind of create your own story with these people. I mean, you get the title and you get kind of a little bit of information, and then your imagination can sort of go, you know. Yeah, these have baby black diamonds.
I love of that at the top.
Yeah,
what is the shape?
Yeah, rose cut diamond. So it's a hematite and then a little rose cut diamond there in between.
It's such a good shape to come down. It's a really beautiful. The scrolls match the shape, because it's a really clean, big.
Yes, and again, you've got that sweet little hinge on there, so you get all that movement. Yeah,
and that cute little.
This one's a more movement because it does have the jump ring, but they're really tiny, so it's not going to have so much movement that it flips over or around and lands in a weird place.
It feels like a big. Elegant,
I don't know if I showed you these ladies yet, but this is arranged marriage, I think. Let me see.
The arranged marriages and the Boston marriage thing is like crap.
This is a Boston marriage number 2, and this is a both ladies in here. So 2 ladies hanging out.
Their shirts are so cute.
Aren't they cute? And those are what I had on when we first started, but they've got a lot of nice movement as well.
I like those. Those are like a great size. The names are so good. I like
Megan's idea too about keeping the where it came from and making like a wall piece where you can put the earring in, or I mean, even if you didn't have that, it would be really nice to be able to hang these. I hang all my you do too. You display your jewelry all around your house, but I love being able to do that extra element.
I think also, okay, here's something, Megan, I was thinking about. Just the tin types with the naked holes and no faces, and make those into it could say a lot. Without even having, that could be by itself beautiful, and really, I think there's something there that I see with this absent.
There's a lot of potential for long-term exploration with this work for sure. I know Megan's going to stay busy with this, and also just the way that she combines the stones. And I mean, when you look at all that engraving that she does, it's just really incredible.
The engraving with the little balls on the comb, the little pearls on the outside, the elements, that to me, I'm like, I want to see, I could see a whole line of hair accessories too. Like kind of Lalique inspired a little. That's kind of.
Yeah, she needs to get in on your didn't you make crowns recently? She needs to get in on
crowns tomorrow. Okay. Crown City tomorrow. We're making more crowns tomorrow. Everybody show up at 6 p.m.
Right.
Zip tie and headband. Zip ties with headbands.
Nice. Oh, this is awesome.
It's gonna be easy. And we're drinking. So,
fabulous. You and JB.
And then what are we doing next week? Who's our guest next week? And give a little preview.
Let's see here. I
forgot to.
I will tell you because I have everything right here. Next week,
Eric Verastro, anyone?
I think so. I think he's next, but let me just be sure because
Eric, or we have people that are coming up are, because we're doing this every Monday, so please tune in.
It's Eric.
Okay, we have Eric Verastro next week. Last week we had Tanya Crane. That was awesome. They're going to be up on YouTube, so you can kind of take a moment and appreciate. But we also love questions, and Jewelry Editions will be posting about the work all week. So please take a peek, as well as on your website, because you have some good writings coming up, more images, more pieces. So
yes. So we will unbox. We will show a lot of this jewelry close up on our Instagram stories, and then we'll archive them in those little bubbles below. And then we will also upload the link to this talk on our events page next to Megan's name. And then next week we will look forward to talking to Eric. And I really hope that you guys will talk about shoes because he has quite a collection, and that's gonna be cool. Yeah.
I'm really excited, you guys. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, let us know. Please contact either of us. We'd be happy to help. Laura, it's such a pleasure. You're froze on me, but I'm going to say goodbye to you. If you guys have any questions, let me know. And we're doing our giveaway on Friday with